Happy New Year, Bill.
Happy New Year. Hey, the plants are growing beautifully.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, David, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Bill?
Great.
Good.
I take it that David got my message the other day because I saw your text. So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
And Michelle, she's here.
Michelle and Katie, too.
Barbara, I think with all that plant growth, you need some monkeys there. They can swing through the trees.
You don't see the ones that are up here. I have a Norfolk pine that's about 8 feet tall. So I've had him for a long time. We're waiting to make sure that we have a quorum.
Mhm.
No.
Jane is trying to get in right now. She's just having a little bit of issues. So we're working on getting that resolved.
Okay.
Cool.
Silly dog.
Oh, Michelle, I got some nice pictures from today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I'd love to see him. You could text him to me if you want.
Okay. And remember, I'm not tech savvy, so.
Well, you have my phone number, so.
Okay.
Oh, I think Ann took some too, so.
You did.
Yeah, she forwarded them to me. So tomorrow I'll compile all the photos that are sent to me and I'll send it out to the commission.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
And then I'll send a bunch of photos to Katie. How's that? I'll make
Who?
it.
Yeah, it looks good. I drove by it today after I left and went to pick my daughter up from school. Now, I don't know if it's just because I'm looking for it, but you could definitely see it from the road. It looks nice, I think.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Jane, is that you? I think she's trying to get in on her phone.
Oh, I hear you.
Oh, I hear you now.
Okay, so yeah, can I just join by phone since I can't figure out how to get on?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, Barbara, we have a quorum now. If you want to get started or if you want to
Sure.
wait another minute.
Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. It is 6:36 p.m. according to my Mac here. Welcome everyone to the Community Art and Culture Commission. Let's get started. So let's see, call to order, and I need to take the roll. Bill's here, Mary Beth. Who's the other person on the phone? I'm sorry.
Jane Tracy.
Okay. Jane, okay. Bill is here, Bill Shawaker, Michelle Francisco, and David Murphy. Okay, so we have a quorum, and we'll see if Mary Beth is able to connect with us this evening. Okay, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Let's start with the approval of minutes from December the 9th of 2020. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? You have? Okay. Okay, may I ask, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Michelle moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, David, any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from the December 9th, 2020 meeting?
Aye.
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 Aye. Bill?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
yes. Jane?
Aye.
Okay, so nobody's opposed? We're good. Great. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go into unfinished business. Let's start with bedtime stories, okay? Perhaps, let's see. Katie, do you want to start on that, or do you, to give kind of an update? The thing that I was going to say is that I did talk with Alderman Wiesenhan, and he's with Maria DeVille, and they are going to be nice enough to secure 3 more individuals to do bedtime stories. So I'm excited about that. So that's my update at this point. Okay.
Yeah, so I spoke with a representative at the United States Copyright Office to make sure that we're going about this all correctly. And so we have to get written copyright approval from the owner of the story, whether that's the author themselves or the publisher. So as I receive titles, I will send out a request for that. And I send them, let them know what we're planning on doing with it, and then ask if we have the approval to use their story or not.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we will move on to the priority list.
I have a question.
Sure.
How has the response been?
I'll go back to Katie again. You know what the response has been? Is there a way to track that?
So I looked at the YouTube views, and we had 23 views from that. So something we have to keep into consideration is it is new. We still have to do a lot of promotion for it. So moving forward, if we still aren't getting a lot of feedback from that, then we can reconvene for it.
Okay, good question. Thank you. Okay,
And we are not promoting it yet anywhere other than it's on the county, or it's on the Town and Country website somewhere.
to my
Yeah.
knowledge, yes.
And-
Just here.
And when are we going to start possibly promoting it via the alderman updates or newsletters? Have we talked about that?
Okay. I can work on that myself. I'll be happy to do that. Katie and I'll probably have to work together on that.
Well, I didn't know if I think the last meeting we talked about whether we wanted to or not, like we wanted to make sure it was something we were going to stick with,
Right,
see how it went the first couple
Right.
beforehand. So we've only done the one, and we've got 3 more readers, but we don't have a timeline for when we're going to do the next one. Is that correct?
that's my understanding. Katie, am I correct in that?
Yes. So once we get the approval from the author or the publisher, whoever owns the rights of it, then we can set a release date for it.
Okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question, Michelle?
Yeah, I just, if we're gonna keep doing it, then I think it's something we obviously want to promote, because not everybody goes to the Town and Country website looking
Right.
for,
Right.
um,
Oh, no, I
Excuse
think
me,
it's a
but
good
will the
question to ask.
presentations be improved?
I'm sorry.
Will the presentations be improved?
We did share with the bedtime stories, the guide and tips have been shared. Yes.
No. I'm asking. Sorry, I'm asking whether the procedure is better.
My understanding that it should be, yes, absolutely. Yes. Because the guidelines have been shared, yes, and they will adhere to those, yes.
David, what do you think? Have you seen the recent productions?
Well, we've only had the one, so I think we all got to
Oh,
see
so there
that.
hasn't been anything other than the one.
No,
I think that's the only one.
Well,
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got an
Hello?
opportunity to raise the bar, as it were.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think with the guidance and what we talked about was that we'd be willing to talk to whoever's coordinating it at the site beforehand to kind of walk them through and guide them through the guidance. And I can do that.
okay,
Okay, so you're going to manage that, is that correct?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
And then maybe David, after it's shot, obviously after they shoot it, you're going to look at it and figure out if it's content we can put up or not. Because if it's not good quality, simply because of the way the reader reads, or it's, that
Right.
it hasn't, the guidelines haven't been followed for whatever reason, because it's out of our
That's
hands,
real
right?
important.
Once you turn it over to them, we're kind of like hoping that it gets done the correct way.
okay,
So maybe we wait to see how these go before we promote it. And then if it looks like it's going to stick, promote it. But if not, then
Right.
we tried.
we tried.
Right.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay. Any other discussion on the bedtime stories? Okay. Let's move on to item number 2 on the agenda, the priority list. Okay, and so I have down that David, you submitted your scavenger hunt. And then I also have, it was submitted that we would have at least one new piece every 2 to 3 years talking about public art. Any discussion on those?
I have a question about the person that submitted the thing on public art.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that for me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a question about, I guess, to the person that submitted the question on public art.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me, Bill.
Oh, you're the telephone lady.
Jane. I'm Jane, yeah.
Jane.
Oh. Hi. Can you explain it to me?
Well, I just feel like we, I've been on this commission for several years, and we really hadn't done anything along those lines.
Right.
So
I agree.
Okay. So I just wanted to give ourselves a goal so that we can have things to work toward, to achieve, to cross off our list, I guess. Every time I go to a beautiful city like Naples, Florida, or in Napa Valley, California, and I see all their wonderful public art, I'm a little bit envious and think that we should have a similar situation in our city.
Oh, amen. Look at Webster Groves. Marilyn Bradley's done a lot there, and they've got a lot of great things that they've poked in little areas in the city, and it's really special. I couldn't agree with you more. And how do we go about doing that more? Initially, way back when, I thought it would be really important to build up a collection for the city of Town and Country, paintings, sculpture, etc. And so we started to buy works of art from the artists that participated in the fall arts festivals. So we have a few of those. But how do we come by the rest of those? We bought and paid for the Discovery thing that's in the town square. So we have that. Is there any ideas as to, or is that a good method to go by? In other words, should we continue with getting loaners here in Town and Country? Like we have, well, actually the Trovas are loaners. And what was that thing that we just got? That's a loaner, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have it for 2 years.
So we have that, but I guess what I'm asking for is ideas as to whether the idea of acquiring a group of paintings and a group of sculptures for the city of Town and Country as their city collection, is that important? Or should we just go along with the temporary things that we can collect, which are easy to come by? There are a lot of people that have stuff out there that say, come and get it. Actually, the art museum has stuff in the basement. So what do y'all think?
Well, Katie, doesn't St. Louis County have other artwork as well, or am I wrong on that?
I would have to check on that. I'm not 100%.
Okay. Okay.
But as far as goals are concerned, about it's strange to think about doing this every year or every 6 months. What should our goals be as far as collecting and giving it to the city? What are your thoughts? How,
Yes,
in
good
other words,
question.
how should we invest? Or should we?
I open that
Yeah,
up
so-
to commission members. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'm not aware that we have a line item in the budget. Is that correct,
Right.
Barbara?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
we don't.
Unfortunately, no.
Cal budget.
So if we're going to be acquiring art, it seems like we need to be getting ourselves a little piece of the budget every year.
Mhm.
And even if we couldn't buy a piece every year, we could accrue that money so that in a couple of years we could acquire a piece.
Yeah, the other thing that we got to think about, I wrote down two things. One, budget, and the other one is identifying places where we would put it. And then who
Yes.
maintains it, because some of the art has to be maintained.
Mhm.
We've talked about that in the past. Like, I
Right.
think when I first started, we were talking about if we got a piece so to me, it seems like, and I don't know who gets to decide where the art goes. I mean, certainly I think this committee can identify places where we could put it, but then we'd have to get approval, I'm gathering, right, from the Board of Aldermen to say, yes, that's a
Yeah.
spot you could put it. But if Bill is aware that there's pieces of art laying around that we can acquire for free, or someone would loan it to us, then I think it's a great idea to explore that further.
We can do that.
Okay.
If that would be the goal that we're looking at. Or we could put
And I
our
like-
energy to raising money to purchase and or design something for the city and to give to them, to give to us rather.
Yeah, so Bill, I'm not even familiar with what kind of budget that would require. Can you tell me about what sort of price would be fair?
Well, it depends on how we'd go about it. In other words, as far as the discovery thing was concerned, it was about 30, 40,000, I think. And we got the major part of that money from Maria de Villa, and the rest community donors gave. I was one, and John Dalton was one, and a lot of the members of the committee threw in bucks, along with neighborhood associations, which was a nice thing, because everybody's got a little thing in their treasury, and that helps bring the community together.
Mhm.
And it was also a piece, that wasn't so controversial. We would have played hell to pay to try to get the Trovas funded. I can tell you that right now. But the one with the discovery thing seems to be a pretty happy thing for the community. At that point, we were also thinking about that wonderful city garden that we have in St. Louis. And have you all been down there to see that?
Mhm.
With the
Mhm.
landscaping
Yeah.
by the
Ah.
botanical gardens
It is.
and the sculpture lift sheds, all of that is just wonderful. And kids play on it and all of that. And in the back of our minds, it was, let's get something like that going here in Town and Country. And of course, with the addition of a town square, where there'd be land to put some of that on, would be an exciting, venue to start with. So that's sort of the history about the sculpture collection and developing a sculpture park, if you will. I don't know what more I can add to that, except that I guess if we're interested in doing something like that, I think we need to say, okay, that's going to be our goal. And let's do fundraisers. Let's do a sculpture ball. Let's do whatever, as soon as the COVID thing is gone, of course. And
Yes.
you know, all of and of course it takes time to develop. So and you know what I want to tell you, John Dalton was really excited to do some sort of big fundraising thing, and I said, we're all going to these things. Let's just put it aside and see what we can do, raising the funds as we can, and we did, and fortunately, it's in place. So uh, that's really all of the background I can add to it. But I absolutely am in favor of trying to continue to create more art for town and country, and establish a sort of culture for it. You know, a lot of cities have none of that, and I think we're the ones that can make it happen. It takes work, takes money,
Mhm.
and we're, you know, we're shackled right now because of the COVID thing. But once once that goes away, we can make it happen. What say ye? You know, how do
Hey,
you all
Bill,
think?
just out of curiosity, from start to finish, when you guys were doing with Discovery, how long was that project? I mean, from the time you guys said, we want to do a sculpture, you know, researching, fundraising, production,
Right.
was that like several years or?
It was a couple of years. Yes. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And what we had is we went to we isolated a list of sculptures that we felt would be amenable to what we were going through. At that time on our committee, we had some very forward-thinking people. That not that you're not forward-thinking, no, but we had people that really liked modern stuff and all of that, and so we went to a woman that lived in town and country as a child, was part of the Christian Science group here. She is a brilliant artist in New York, and
Okay.
helped to did the design for the that huge fountain in commemoration with the 9/11 thing, you know, with the names around it and all of that.
Okay.
And she came and we talked, and she came back with a very, very modern kind of thing. It looked like a silo that had been melted down from the top. It was wonderful. Okay, I'm the modernist, right? It was wonderful, but John Dalton took a look at the sketch and he said, "What?" And I knew we were dead in the water.
Okay.
So we had several other people. We had Brother Mel. We had a lot of different people, and of course, um, uh, we wound up with Discovery because it just seemed to work well with
Mhm.
the community, and we thought we could sell it, right? So we did, and it happened, and of course, you know, got great input from
Well, let me,
redevelopment.
oh, did you have something you'd like to say too? I'm sorry.
Me? No, I
No.
guess my only thing is, how did you guys put it out? Like, did you have both various different renditions or sketches, or was there any community input, or because I can
Oh, yes.
imagine that if you do that, that's my only concern. I was talking to somebody else about that today. Maybe it was you, Jane, or maybe it was you, Katie, where it gets too many people involved in the decision-making process. It was Katie, yeah.
Yeah,
And it like,
Yeah.
we'll never get it done, right? So I guess I'm trying to figure out
Oh,
who gets the last say, you know?
Yeah.
Is it this commission? I
so
mean, I don't know.
so true. And then you wind up, you know, you've got the Board of Aldermen. I mean, they've got to give the hokey dokey, right?
Yeah,
So no, we had a very small group of people to start with because we had to select the sculpture that was going to work, and Harry worked for us, and he submitted a variety of different sketches and whatever, and we were finally able to find something with our group that we felt we might sell. So he did the sketches. We went to the Board of Aldermen and we got an A-OK, and we started to raise money for it.
Okay, so I guess we could follow that similar blueprint if this is the path we go down, where this group.
It works.
Okay.
It works. And what we really need to do is grab, well, first off, Barbara's got to be in this group. It's got to be a small group.
Mhm.
Barbara, Katie, and then maybe one member of this crowd that will go together, have lunches together, think about the sculptures that they think would be good for this thing, and then do the research and go to them and ask them, we've got this idea, would you be willing to work with us?
Okay.
And then they do this. David, you'd be perfect because you're sort of the head guy here now, and work with these two ladies to make that happen. Because you all know sculptors in St. Louis and artists. Go to them and say, look, we're interested in doing something, and get an idea for budget. What can you sell? What does the city need? Do you want to put it on the city square? Do you want to put it someplace else? What venues do you have?
Well, one thing that I will offer to do is speak with the planning department and see where there might be some other locations around the city that we could place artwork and at least find out a little bit more.
Barbara, that's a good idea. That's a good
I will
idea.
do that. I will be happy to do that. Okay.
And I can remember, Barbara, that at one point somebody mentioned that the man who did Discovery also had small animals that could be placed around and in the creek and that sort of thing at the town square.
Okay.
Right. And that was
so
also part of it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's absolutely right. He's got a few little foxes and all that thing
Okay.
to put around. Now they're small,
Mhm.
but you could have a little group of animals around. Children might like to romp around and take pictures with the kids with it. All of that's possible.
I will look into that as well. Okay. Is it fair
And
enough
then
to everybody?
It might be something that we already have pricing on as well. I don't know. Katie may know about that. And then
Okay.
I wonder if people could do that, like they do the bench as a tribute or a memorial for someone.
Okay.
That might be a really wonderful idea for us to get money kind of that way. I don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Great
In
idea.
memory of Uncle Ed.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Let me find out who the artist was and how to contact that individual. I will take
Well,
that
it's
out.
Harry Weber.
Pardon me?
Harry Weber.
Harry Weber? Okay.
Yeah.
Katie, you might even have the contact information.
Yeah, I actually have the presentation pulled up on my computer right now
Oh, wow.
from when he presented for the horse and dog.
Right.
As of at that time, his prices and stuff may have changed, but his other pieces that range from a coyote, rabbit, raccoon, and a running fox range anywhere from $2,200 to $5,800 a piece.
Yeah, they were cheap.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
bad.
At least we have an idea of what we would need
But
to.
now remember, those are also in-house, and that's not being done for us, right? We're buying those off the shelf. So if that makes any difference to the value you guys might have in acquiring these things, you have to understand
Okay.
that
Okay, that's on my to-do list. All right.
Thank you, Barb.
Yeah, thank you you're welcome. All right, if we can move on to the scavenger hunt. And who submitted that?
So the scavenger hunt idea is something that's COVID friendly. People could do it at any point. It's creativity. It's families or groups getting together and providing submittals. So what I did was kind of throw out several ideas that could be assignments in the scavenger hunt. everything would be sent into the website, to the portal, for people to review and all that kind of good stuff. And then there were incentives, things like a T-shirt to people for participating. I think I put a $20 fee to participate on this whole thing as well. And then, as I said, a lot of it was just like exercising some creativity among families or friends to try to win. And so hopefully everyone's had a chance to kind of take a look at it. I don't think the intent was not necessarily to do all. I think I had 12 ideas.
Right.
Maybe it's bringing down to 8 ideas or something like that, and just kind of create a little bit of a community feel and a community spirit going through. We could set up potentially even an area for people to do selfies or take pictures of themselves doing some of these activities, that type of stuff. But it was everything from creating a song to designing the next year's T-shirt, to some sports related activities. We even had some simple stuff like attending online coffees with the mayor or one of the aldermen, that type of thing. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm flipping through. I mean, thank you very much for all the ideas that you've come up with. Wonderful. Okay. So
Yeah,
how
I
would
love
the
it.
commission like to proceed with those?
sorry. So what I would throw out to the commission is that, we go ahead, kind of create like a core team to build this out. Obviously, Katie would be involved in there too. And then work out a promotion plan and move it forward, kind of set a date of, just to throw a date out there, let's say the month of May is Scavenger Hunt month. And then it's regardless of what's going on with COVID at that time.
Right.
But then basically give it a 1 month, 1 month window for people to do their activities. And then we'd have some kind of judging panel and then some kind of recognition at the end.
Okay. Good idea.
I think it's a
I'm
great
making
idea.
notes as you're talking. I'm making notes. Okay. So my thinking is that the commission, we need to perhaps at the next meeting or give some thought to which ones that we think that we can implement. And the other thing would be a timeline. I'd like to see a timeline for activities for the year.
Mhm.
Does that
I'd
sound
like to
reasonable to
volunteer
everyone?
I'd like to volunteer to taste the sourdough bread. And if there are any apple pies or anything like that.
There you go. So
Food
I can
stuff
work.
I'd like to do.
I could work out a timeline and some of the logistics behind it, and I would invite everyone to vote. I would say let's vote on your top 8 items.
Okay.
Hey, and you know what? I wonder, Dave, if we could do some sort of a twist to really get businesses involved where
Mhm.
people could, I don't know, like there'd be some special item that they could go and purchase that would also give them bonus points or something. I don't know. But,
Okay.
some way to include businesses as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Is that
That's a
outside
great
of the scope?
idea.
There's one
Because
idea-
right now everybody needs traffic in their stores.
Yeah.
And boy, that would be a great
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, open
Wonderful.
to any other ideas. There's one in there that is thank a local business, which is designing your own thank you card for a local business and
Mhm.
kind of sharing your story of why this business is important to you. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If we can get the businesses involved as well, and even, I don't know, maybe it's some kind of trinket or tchotchke that they would have that, people would have to go there a certain number of times to earn a star, that they can get a point on the scavenger hunt.
So let me ask.
Think
Yeah.
of the diamond store.
The
Either
which-
you get a 5th of gin or a 5-carat diamond ring.
And I'll take either of those, Bill.
There you go. Ideas
Big
are
fan.
happening right now.
So, all right. So
Big.
who would like to work on this between now and the next meeting?
So as I said, I'll work on the logistics. So I'll continue
Okay.
working on it.
David, I'll work with you. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Jane, would you be nice enough to share some of your thoughts on the businesses with these two gentlemen?
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Jane.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay. Okay, so I have down Bill and David, and Jane's going to help you or give you some thoughts with how to incorporate the businesses. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Okay. All right. Shall we move on to
Barb?
residents? I'm
Barb,
sorry.
I've got a question for you. We lost Nan, apparently. I saw a thing that she left the commission. Did you talk to her, find out why she left?
Oh, no, I did. I thanked her for her time. I did not chat with her.
You know, she's been a treasure, and boy, it was sad to see her go. I haven't called her because I've been busy with other things, but you know, we're hurting because we need people.
I will put it out there again that we have openings on the commission. Perhaps we can put it on the website again.
You know,
Okay.
anybody
President-
else here know of anybody that's interested in joining
Went
this?
to round 2 on my reach outs. So
I got somebody
Right.
in mind, but I've hesitated to reach out until we kind of became a little bit more stable as a group, because
Okay.
we had
Oh,
a
no,
lot of,
that'll never
mean,
happen.
we're gonna have to,
to be honest with you, I wasn't going to invite anybody. I mean, we went 6 months without meeting at one point. So it
I'll
was gonna
drop out. I'll make it easy for you.
You know what I mean?
No,
No,
I don't do
I
that.
want to make sure, like, I think we're in a good place now because we're regularly meeting. We have a
Right.
quorum. But what I didn't want to do is have somebody show up when we were like out at, when we were meeting at the town square, and we had like 3 meetings or 2 that we canceled because we didn't have people showing up. I didn't think that was a great way to try to bring somebody
Right.
into the fold. So, but the person I have in mind is actually an artist herself. She
Okay.
teaches
Cool.
art classes.
Good.
And I think it'd be great if we had an actual artist on our commission.
Yeah, well, Mary Beth's still on.
Yeah.
Isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Mary Beth on the call?
Pardon me?
Is Mary Beth on the call? No,
I don't
think
think
she's
she
on.
says no.
Yeah, but Mary Beth's a swim coach now too at Parkway, and I just think it'd be great to have another artist if we,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I can reach out to that person and see if she's
Great.
interested.
Okay,
Um,
super.
That'd be great, Michelle.
Pardon me?
I think she'd bring some good ideas to us too.
Okay, great. No, that's good. If you have anyone, please encourage them to fill out an application. Good
Okay.
ideas. If I may, I'm watching the clock, and I wanted to move on to a resident survey. That's something that I had suggested a while ago. And I just want to know, how does the commission feel about surveying residents to see their interest in proposed activities?
I mean, I think it's always a great idea to go out to people and ask them what they think. I think it also could be a great way of kind of prioritizing the types of artwork
Right?
that we're considering. Everything from, the sculpture, public sculpture, to, what types of things they'd like to see in Longview. And then also even, I would love, I'm sure I'm not alone here, love to be able to get the concert series up and running,
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
and, like type of music,
Right.
what types of things would you like in the concert series, food trucks, whatever it might be, that type of involvement. So knock on
How do
wood.
we pair? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
That's
how
right.
do we pair with the Town and Country Symphony?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it broke up, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, how do we pair with Town and Country Symphony?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
mean,
sorry.
it's part of
I
our.
have hearing aids and I apologize.
Can you expound on that, Bill? Exactly
Yeah.
what you're meaning
In
here?
other words,
Yes.
should we work with them as far as developing some sort of musical program?
Oh, the symphony is what
Town
maybe?
and Country Symphony.
Okay.
They're a bird in the hand,
Yep.
or a vulture, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit, Bill.
Okay.
So I've been working with them trying to get one of the nights for the concert series they're going to perform for us. So I had spoke to them in 2020 about we had everything set up for them to perform for us. And then COVID hit. So they had actually at that point told me that they don't have enough time to be able to gather together to practice, to be able to put on a great performance. So they were putting us on hold for a bit. But their plan is to come back for our concert series this year.
Okay, good.
When would that start? I mean,
Yeah, that's-
our symphony tickets are still on hold, so nothing's happening with the symphony.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything, are they?
So once we finish with the resident survey, we'll pop down to the concert series and go over all that for you.
Okay. Okay. So does the commission feel that we need to do a resident survey?
I mean, I don't think there's any harm in it, but how would you go about doing the survey? Is it just something you put on the website and you hope people fill out? Does it come in mailboxes?
I would say it's probably going to go on the website. Katie, what do you think?
I think the website's fine to put it on there, but again, it's going to be like you guys have mentioned earlier, not as many people visit the website. So if we're wanting to send it out other ways, it's just going to be a cost for it. Whether we send one postcard in the beginning of, let's say like this summer to say, hey, this is what we have going on. You can go onto our website, X, Y, and Z, and this is where you can find things. But then again, who's going to take it and actually read through it all, or who's going to take it and,
Yeah.
That's my only concern is how do we market this? Because I think it's good. If it goes in the mail, I think it's going to get accidentally tossed like so many things do, because there's just so much junk mail that people get. I don't think we have a good mechanism to drive people to our website anyway right now, let alone where they find it.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that the effort we put into doing a survey is worth it if we don't think we're going to get the responses. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do we have an email list for the community?
We do, don't we, Katie? Because that's what we use for Art and Wine, right?
We do. Yep. So we have people that subscribe to notify me for art events, parks and recreation, stuff like that. We can send that through there, which that's where I send out all of our art openings and our newsletters and stuff. So that's our way of communication.
That would be better, I think.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
You could do one of those survey monkeys or something like that.
That's what I was thinking. Keep it short and to the point. Yeah.
And then, have a place where people could put comments so that they could actually type in some things and then see what we get back and then evaluate it as a committee and see what we get.
Okay.
I know the one thing that.
Sorry.
So, Jane?
I was just going to say, I wonder if we could have somebody with like an iPad, maybe at Starbucks, like 2 or 3 mornings a week, asking people, are you from Town and Country? And then taking their responses as a way to proactively meet people where they are, or, Straub's or pick a place, any of those places.
Okay.
I mean, I know right now it's COVID, but people are still going out, and if somebody felt comfortable doing that, to just have a live person asking the question. Are we thinking it'd be like a 5-question survey or?
Yeah, to touch on that, Jane, Ann and I had actually discussed this about having people walk around during our actual city events, asking questions about, it could just be in general, like, is this event, I mean, this is pretty broad right now, but is this event what you expected it to be? What more are you looking from it?
Right.
So we, at all of our city events, we can have a Community Art and Culture Commission booth to where we can do that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, we have to wait for COVID. So it may be a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're still waiting in line with that. I mean, to go back to David's point, because the music thing is something that I really believe in and think will pull our community together and really drive more traffic to Town Square once we can do it. But do we have any idea at all? I mean, I know we're taking our marching orders from the county, but do we have any idea when we might be able to do something like that? Katie or Barbara, have you heard anything from the Board of Aldermen meetings? Has there been any indication of when things might light up?
I have not. Katie, have you heard anything from It's Department of Health going through the county executive,
Yes.
I'm assuming, yeah.
But because we have so many bands that we have reached out to last year, I have to imagine that if that lifts, we might be able to pull something together relatively quickly. And then get some sort of a banner, which I'm happy to take that one on. I think that's a great idea to be able to, if we have dates that we can identify up front, like even if it's 3 or 4, we can put together a banner, put it outside of town center where it says, these are the dates where we're going to have live music, concert series, or movie nights, outdoor movie nights. These are things that we used to do when I lived in Chicago. Our little neighborhoods would do them at the parks, and they were huge hits. So I guess we got to wait, but I think that that's something great that we can pick up as soon as this lifts.
Okay. Is there anyone
But I
who'd
kind-
like to, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I kind of agree with you, Michelle, that we need to have it sort of pre-planned so that if it comes, say, May, and everybody all of a sudden changes the rules, we'll be ready to roll.
Right,
Yeah.
good point.
I mean, maybe we can, Katie, reach out to those bands and just, well, one, we need to make sure they're all still together because some people could have broken up. But like, I mean, I know my one friend's band, but some of these guys need to know that it's a possibility so that they can start practicing again too. I know that my son's still at School of Rock. That's an option to get their performance band out there. These are high school kids that are really talented, as David can attest. So I know they were on our lineup as well, but maybe just start putting the feelers out to some of those bands and saying, hey, as soon as this lifts, this is something that we still want to continue with. Are you guys still interested?
Okay.
And I can even do that if I get the context that you had, Katie, and just kind of start seeing if these bands are still together, be willing to get together this summer if it gets greenlit.
So Michelle, do you want to work with Katie on that?
Yeah.
You okay with
Happy
that?
to.
Super, thank you.
Hey, Barb, I just want to make sure we're onto the new business right now for concert series. Is that correct?
Pardon me?
We've moved on to the new business. Is that
No, we're
correct?
going to, I think we
Okay.
kind of, okay.
I just want to
Now
make sure I
let's
have
move on
all
to the
this.
concert series.
down.
Oh, let me back up for 1 second. Who would like to work on the survey? Is there anyone who would like to? I'll be happy to work on it. Is anyone else?
Yeah,
who
I
would
can help
like
you
to?
with that.
Jane?
This is Jane. Yeah, I can help you with that.
Super, I appreciate it, thank you. Okay. Oh, that's great. Thank you all, really. I really do appreciate it. All right, Katie, concert series. Take the ball and run with it.
Yeah. So I've been in contact with all the bands that we had scheduled for last year, and they're still interested in doing the concert series for 2021. I looked at the weekends that we originally had them scheduled for and try to post about the same weekends. I also double checked with our schedule through the city as well as the Parks and Recreation Department. And what I had come across to notice what was consistent with the schedule is the second Friday of every month. And from as we had scheduled in 2020, it was doing like the 6 to 9 p.m. time period. And looking through the second Friday of the month, May through September, 6 to 9. And then on having our big, huge grand finale, which we might be pairing it with a city event on a Saturday, October 9th. So right now I'm reaching out to the bands, checking to see their availability, if they're still interested, at this point, still interested, as you had mentioned, Michelle, the band's still together, things like that.
Talking about 2021?
Yes, Bill.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me. Nobody's getting vaccinated? And you're talking about this happening in May?
Well, I think she's saying if certain restrictions get lifted and it's an outdoor event.
Yeah.
We just don't know what the county is going to say.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, we don't have any information.
Do you all realize what's going on or what isn't going on? You're not getting the vaccine in soon enough. How are you going to get enough people vaccinated to even go to something like that? Whether it's outside or wherever. It's dangerous. Are you just blowing it off. I don't get it.
Well, perhaps we can look into the
The
feasibility.
St.
of
Louis
this at that
Symphony
point.
isn't even doing anything. For God's sakes, I don't get it.
Anyone else? Any thoughts?
Are you all
Jane?
going to the Fox? They're not doing anything.
Well, but I understand what you're saying, Bill. I think we're just trying to look at what we had planned last year, trying to figure out what might work this year. None of it might happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It can't happen. The stuff isn't happening. You've got to give it more time. You know, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm too paranoid about this, but you guys, you're organizing super spreaders is what you're doing.
Well, we're not organizing anything. We're trying to get ready in case.
In
I
case
mean,
what?
we don't make the calls on this. The
Miracle
county.
happens?
No, I'm just saying the county makes the calls on this. And if it's an outdoor event, last year, what we were talking about doing is having small like pods. It was all outdoors. It was all in the open. And we had to cancel the whole thing, as you know, and it might not be that we're able to do it again this year, but
Right.
you know, I don't know what else we do. We're supposed to be meeting once a month. We've got all these agenda items we've teed up in the future.
I
So
wouldn't touch this thing until you're sure 6 months hence that you can do it. I'm serious, because it's going to take time to do it, first off, but you've got to make sure that people are going to be safe with their health. And you know, a lot of people just simply won't come.
no, I
because of the
understand that,
fear
but
of
I don't
COVID.
know if you're aware that there's already places that were doing outdoor concert series. They were safely doing it. They were spacing people. They were in parking
Where?
lots.
Where?
I know in South County there have been some.
Not in South County, in Des Peres, and the Des Peres mayor greenlit it. It was happening at restaurants that were having outdoor car series concerts.
We're not going to restaurants yet.
No, I'm saying
I
it was
hope you
outdoors
are.
in their I'm saying it was outdoors in parking lots, and they were really successful, and they weren't the only restaurant doing it.
I know of nothing like that. I
Circa,
want you to tell me
circa,
what's going on.
Circa
Because
Bar
I-
and Grill. Yeah, there's quite a few that were doing them, and people were coming to them, and the county was it was all on the up and up. It was all pre-cleared. They had
Hey.
cars that were spaced so far apart, and people like had their own little area, and then they had a band performing. So they have been happening, and they happened all through the fall until the weather became
I don't know
unfavorable.
anything about it, so I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying that
without knowledge.
these things have been happening. They've happened in Chesterfield as well. So they're already
Never heard of it.
happening. Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Never heard of it.
Well, in my mind,
So
it would
what
all
we're
be
doing is here,
tentative
we're going to
anyway.
park cars and listen to some band someplace in the city square. Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm just telling you as an example of one that I know happened, and they had lots of them, and it's what helped them get through this because they were able to have people come when the restaurants were shut down inside.
Right.
But they had lots of different bands that came and performed, and they called them their Friday night concert series, and they weren't the only folks doing them. So people are trying to find ways to, you know, work under the,
Compensate.
yes.
We can
Yes,
at
I'm
least-
not advocating a giant party in town square. I think when we had first thought about whether we were gonna be able to do it, we were talking about limiting how many people, having temperature checks. Remember all of this discussion we had over at town square? Bill, I don't think you were at that
Temperature.
original meeting when we
Right.
talked about it. But
This
we
is all
all
very
agreed that
tentative.
it was just logistically too hard to do, so we
Yeah.
didn't pursue it.
Okay,
Couldn't agree more.
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just I'm very hesitant about that sort of thing in this particular time right now. I don't see it happening. So go about whatever you think, but don't count me in on this one because I think it's scary. And I think you're doing something that's very injurious to a community's health. And
Well,
That's
I
what I
think,
think.
I think what's being suggested is that we're looking to the future should things change. And it would be listed as very just pending or tentative, to be able to implement if things change dramatically.
Yes.
That's the way I'm looking at it. It's like you've given some thought to the
That's fine.
future if things change. We're not saying that it's carved in stone, not at all. No.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm saying, why waste the energy until you're sure to do it?
Okay. Well, how does the commission feel?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like Katie's already done some of the legwork on it. And I don't know how much more work it would require, because we're not going to go reserving like lots of tons of chairs and that kind of thing, unless the restrictions are lifted. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Okay. So Michelle, did you want to work with Katie on this on a tentative?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, Bill, please know that that was always the intent, is to keep
Yeah.
it going. And then, when and if we're told, hey, it's safe
Yes.
to do it, then we've got a game plan ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
it's highly
Okay.
feasible that nothing gets done this summer, or it could be that by the end of July or August, we're in a place where we can. Who
Yeah.
knows?
I pray for that for all of us to happen.
Me too.
Trust me, yeah, having been there
Me
already.
too.
Okay, let's move on to other. I wanted to thank those aldermen and members who attended the installation of Depth of Form today. That was interesting. Thank you all. And we did already perhaps we can share photos, which we've already talked about that. Katie, did you have some suggestions for future art installations?
What do you mean by that? Like,
Okay, like it was suggested by one of the staff today that maybe what we could do would be, once a piece of artwork has been installed, then we could have the artist be able to go online, and we would do, he or she would do a presentation about what prompted them to create this sculpture artwork. And then we would have maybe a way to have input online, or maybe even do it in person, but I don't know how long that's going to take. But anyway, but something like that, food for thought for the future.
yeah, I definitely think that would be a good idea and important, because especially right now where the artist can't get out in front of
Right.
a crowd of people and give an artist talk,
Right.
and promote it on our website, which then can be pushed through our Notify Me, so everybody can be drawn in that way. And also maybe even in the future doing like a interview with the artist,
Yes.
or like a question and answer little forum with them.
Right.
Well, so there's going to be a plaque for that sculpture, right?
Yes.
And so what's the timeline on when we're going to have that put up? Just because I'm assuming that people are going to start going by and being curious about it, want to see what it's
Right. Good
called and who
point.
the artist is and all that.
Yep. So I will get an email out to all of you guys I'm going to send it from the artist with the background of himself, his inspiration, and about the piece specifically. And then if you would like to create an inscription, then you can send that to me and I will put it out to the commission to then vote on for
Good.
that plaque.
Cool.
Cool. Good idea.
And then how long does it take to, by the time we get that part done, how long does it take to have the plaque made and installed? Do you have any timeline for that?
Honestly, it just kind of depends. In a normal circumstance, about a week to get it from the vendor.
That's cool.
But with COVID right now, it just
Yeah.
depends when it gets sent in and how many orders, because they will put like their emergency orders obviously before us, because it's higher priority.
Okay.
So hopefully not too much longer than that. And now that most people have the majority of their COVID signs and things like that, hopefully we'll get a quick turnaround. But I don't have an
Cool.
exact
Okay.
timeline.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I was hoping we weren't like 6 months down the road. It's something that has
Oh,
a pretty quick
no.
turnaround once we
Yeah.
make a decision. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then are you guys, I'm sure you're already doing this, so apologies if I'm restating the obvious, but are you guys putting something on the Town and Country website, like a picture of the art and saying who did it, just so that people can go there to look it up in the meantime?
Yep, so it'll be on the Town and Country website. It'll also be in the Parks and Recreation newsletter. And then when the next Town and Country Times goes out, it'll be in there as well.
Awesome.
Super.
Great.
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 Cool.
Well, anything else under other? Hearing none, I'm going to move to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Bye.
Aye. All right. Opposed? Okay. Thank you all and Happy New Year. It's a great group, really. Thank you all very much.
Thank
I'm
you all.
excited about the coming
Thanks,
year. I'll just be glad when
All right.
COVID's gone. It's a non-issue, but we're
Amen.
moving forward.
Amen.
All right. Good night,
David?
everyone. And
Bye.
see you
David?
Yes,
in,
sir.
let's see, on February the 10th.
Will you give me a call tomorrow? We
Yep.
need to talk.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a
Katie
nice
or
night.
me?
All
I'm
right.
sorry, Bill.
Okay, good night.
Night.
Thanks
Okay.
all.
Bye.
Have a
Good
good night.
night. All right.